We rolling here? Awesome. Just excited for the hands here.
Yeah.
Step one is we're going to set you up. So go ahead and lay on the ground.
Okay.
So going through dead bug, and we'll go from the top down. So go ahead and press the back of your neck into the ground. Give yourself that double chin. And give me arms up like Frankenstein. So anytime we're going to be running and I throw this warm up at you, make sure your palms are facing, but anytime you're doing cleans, just kind of have that slight, just neutral grip. Awesome. So let's go ahead and maintain there, palms facing one another, so you can high five yourself. That's the cue, there you go. All right, now attention to your trunk. Go ahead and rotate your pelvis posteriorly, so you're pressing your lower back into the ground, painting your spine as long as we can on the floor. Now flex your quads. I want slight internal rotations, so turn your knees in so your toes are pointing forward, but turn in at your hips versus your feet. So dorsiflex, now actively pull the top of your shoelaces to your knees, and then raise both legs to the point where your hamstring flexibility is challenged but not compromised. There we go. So you see the slight tilt here. We want to always not rotate out, but I want you to try to flatten that foot. Flatten that foot, there you go. And driving. And then really don't lift your toes, but reach the top of your foot towards it. Awesome. So test number one would then be putting a clock on and seeing how long you can hold this in a perfect position. So most of our female athletes have no problem with this. So this way we can add different stress. I can make you work. So maintaining that position, we can find different points where you can actively hold this instead of just being relaxed in that position. All right, so now we're just going to add some stress and through different planes of motion. So what I'm asking you to do is just take your right hand and go ahead and raise your arm overhead and then try to fight that rotation. So turn that, there you go, and try to cover your ear with your bicep, and you feel that starts to get into your shoulder girdle. Awesome. So now we're gonna look for imbalance by lowering your left hand overhead. And as much as I want to see it, I want you to feel it. So turn that slightly in at your shoulder. There you go. Drive your heels towards the sky. How's that feel?
Right shoulder a little tighter than the left.
And awesome. So we also want to make you aware of this stuff instead of me just seeing it. All right, so now return to neutral. And then which arm did you have issues with your bicep, right?
Actually
or left?
Left, and it's been rehabbed better than the right, I have a feeling.
So that's one of the common things, athletes that come back from injury,
yeah.
Almost that limb is better than the other one because they're applying all that stuff. So our goal is always, again, imbalances lead to injury, so I almost need to apply that same rehab to the right side to get into action.
And I also have a bicep tendon still connected up here, whereas this one gives me more range of motion because it's connected a little lower.
Oh, okay. Then, yes. So they reconnected it lower, or that just naturally?
It tore, and so then instead of connecting it up through the shoulder again, they connected it at the top of the humerus.
So now that will come into play when we got to start doing reps on reps on reps. So we got to keep that in mind. All right, so now let's bring your attention to your legs. Go ahead. I want you to drive your left heel towards the sky and slowly lower your right leg towards the ground. So maintain that neutral. So you already wanted to default to that external rotation. Try to fight that neutral. And we're trying to maintain this home position. Good, good, good. So turn that left knee in, not at your foot, going to be at your hip. And now return to neutral. Breathe. So oxygen is energy. So the beauty of the dead bug is we are maintaining posture and working on our breath. And if you notice, I don't know if y'all can see this, but then her right leg is slightly longer than her left. You ever been told that?
I forgot. If I have, I don't remember.
Okay. So this could be actual one limb is longer than the other, or we could have some hip impingement going on. So that's what we're going to be looking for as your left leg moves. So go ahead and drive your right heel towards the sky. Maintain that neutral in, so turn that left knee in at your hip. There you go. And see how that starts to pull on your trunk and shift your balance off. Here we go. Now return to neutral. Let's go ahead and do that left leg one more time. So if we watch as you lower, internally rotate, internally rotate. So anytime there's external rotation on the way down, that tells us tight hips. That tells us something's going on in the hip. Now go ahead and rise up. Anytime there's external rotation on the way up, that means weakness. So as you see, going up is fine, you're thinking about it, but on the way down, even though you're thinking about it, we're still having that issue. How's your trunk?
Trunk's feeling okay. Shins are tiring out.
Okay, so active in there. So we're actively stretching that calf, working on our tib, anterior, drive your heels towards the sky. There you go. I can see you kind of defaulting there. So again, anytime we do field sport activities or jumping and bounding and plyometrics, dorsiflexion is our friend. So as we can tell, fatigue, your tibia anterior, is starting to fail. So if we ever do high rep box jumps, that's what you're going to start to feel. You're going to default into your calves. And then once your calves can't take on the force, that's when you put your Achilles at risk. All right, so let's go one more assessment. I'm making you hold this very long time because you're going to have to hold your trunk for all those crazy workouts. So now let's go ahead and do both arms overhead at the same time. See how you default? So I don't want you to go through the range of motion. I want you to show me control. So again, limiting factor is going to be stability, your ability to control through a full range of motion. And then we're fighting for even. That looks pretty good. Return home. Now we're going to test your posture. So go ahead and suck your belly button through the floor. Lower both legs at the same time, but only as low as you can maintain lower back contact with the ground. Keep your knees neutral. Awesome. Return home. Steady, steady, steady. So remember, we don't want to snap back. Yeah, let's do one more. Fight for it. And so you're working on breathing. Think of this as a deadlift. Breathe, breathe, breathe while maintaining perfect posture. And then execution. Return home. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay. So we're working on shoulders, and your shoulder girdle, we felt an imbalance. So as much as I need to see it, I need you to feel it, because you're going to be doing all the work, doing all that crazy stuff, and we're just making note. So just notice that imbalance between the right and left, and then you know your body from the experience and talking with the doctors.